Saturday morning, all. Thank you for joining me today for our 26th episode of Saturday Morning Coffee. I'm Nolan, the lead writer of Dime Novel Adventures. Today we'll be reading the May 2026 adventure Wild Wizard's Slime Ranch. If you're ready, I've got my coffee, so let's dive in. Wild Wizard's Slime Ranch, May 2026. The Wild Wizards are at it again in this adventure for your favorite role-playing game. Wild Wizard Slime Ranch, a level 6 to 8 adventure, May 2026. In this adventure, the party will solve puzzles and fight against a slimy menace to rescue 5 chaotic wizards from their own experiments. Written by Flame Reptile. Edited by The One True AZ. Cartographer, The Silent Cartographer. Artists, The Noisy Artographer. Disclaimer. The wizards were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think whether or not they should. Special thanks to Dawn of Dune, The One True AZ, Flame Reptile, Portal Ripper, The Silent Cartographer, Garlic Man, The Angry Ginger, and The Webmaster. Thank you to the Lord our God for blessing us with the inspiration to keep going. Call to me and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. Jeremiah 33:3. Guild Assignment, B Rank Quest, Wizard Search and Rescue. Approved by Grandmaster Archeli Parthenax. Assignment Summary. The Wizard's Tower Workshop has lost its wizards and needs help recovering them. See Megan 4 at the workshop in New Aegis for more information. Location: Wizard's Tower Workshop in New Aegis. Rewards: 10 guild marks for each participating party member of the quest. Introduction. As the party peruses the quest board in search of their next guild assignment, a scaled hand reaches from behind them, pinning a new listing to the board. Upon turning around to investigate the source of the new listing, the Grand Master of the Guild of Nordran is seen adding a listing to the board. He will greet the party and inquire if they are interested in a search and rescue quest from one of the guild's more interesting clients. Read or paraphrase the following. As your party peruses the quest board in search of your next guild assignment, a scaly hand reaches past you from behind, pinning a fresh quest to the board. You turn to see the officiant posting the new quest, and it is none other than the Grand Master of the guild. He peers back at you, as surprised to see you as you are to see him. After a moment of staring, he leans in close and whispers to you, "Looking for a new quest, are you? Do you fancy something from one of our more interesting clients? I hear it's a search and rescue that may take you to see something you've never seen before." After taking a moment to deliberate amongst yourselves, the Grand Master takes the listing from the board and pushes it into your hands. Excitedly, he exclaims, "Wonderful! I knew you'd be the right party for this job. Well, best of luck then. Adventure awaits. Wizards need saving, damsels in..." He trails off as he wanders away, quickly disappearing within the halls of the guild hall, leaving your party with the quest listing. Off to New Aegis. New Aegis is a common location for quests within the Guild of Nordran, especially pertaining to jobs with the Wizard's Tower Workshop. If the party has completed a guild assignment within New Aegis previously, such as the February 2026 adventure The Wild Wizard's Great Game, they may already possess a Crystal of Returning attuned to the guild hall in New Aegis. If not, one can be purchased from the guild merchant Lady Blackhurst for 500 gold pieces. Alternatively, the party may also charter appropriate land, sea, or air travel from Nordran to New Aegis. Nordran is approximately 1,000 miles by land travel, 500 miles by sea travel, and 400 miles by air travel from New Aegis. Missing Wizards. Once the party arrives within New Aegis, they are free to explore as they see fit. However, Megan 4, the superintendent of the Wizard's Tower Workshop, will be awaiting representatives from the Guild of Nordran for her request. When the party arrives to the Wizard's Tower Workshop, a tall stone wizard's tower, a quarter of a mile from the New Aegis docks, Megan 4 will greet them and explain her dilemma. Read or paraphrase the following. As you approach the Wizard's Tower Workshop, a tremendously tall stone wizard's tower that reaches into the clouds, the front doors open. Out from it steps a reforged woman who enters introduces herself as Megan 4, the superintendent of the workshop. Are you the representatives from the guild? Yes. Well, quickly, I must brief you and send you on your way. Megan 4 produces a large envelope and hands it to you. I would like to have you inside for proper introductions and perhaps a spot of tea, but the workshop is in shambles and the wizards who caused this mess have been missing for weeks, likely off causing another, larger mess somewhere. She points towards the envelope. Inside of that envelope are the coordinates to the island in which I believe my employers and wards have disappeared to. It also contains an access key card for the research facility on that island, and a charter for a skyship that will take you there, drop you off, and pick you up the next dawn. She continues. Now, I apologize that I don't have any more information on what you might encounter, but knowing my employers, you can hear a bit of venom in her voice as she says employers. They are likely trapped by their own most recent heinous experiments. I wish you the best of luck, and Godspeed. Concise contents. If the party looks inside the envelope given to them by Megan 4, they will find the following. Map of Islas Arcanum. Folded neatly within the envelope is a map drawn on new parchment. It shows an island chain, named Islas Arcanum, with 6 trailing islands behind one another. The map shows that Islas Arcanum is a few hundred miles northwest of Valdaria, and gives coordinates to locate it. The islands that compose Islas Arcanum are all featureless except for the second sequential island, marked Isla Cognita, which shows the location of a research facility within its center. After 3 days, the map of Islas Arcanum will self-destruct, catching fire and burning away. The fire created in this way is harmless and to creatures and objects other than the map. Access keycard. A small blue keycard can be found loose within the envelope. The access keycard grants permission to traverse through most doors within the Isla Cognita research facility. Charter for the Cherry Cordial. Tucked within another smaller envelope are 8 tickets for a charter of a skyship called the Cherry Cordial. Each ticket allows a medium-sized creature to legally board and gain passage by the Cherry Cordial and to and from Isla Cognita. Charter of the Cherry Cordial. After their encounter with Megan 4, the party will be directed towards the docks housing the Cherry Cordial. The skyship chartered to transport the party to Isla Cognita. Sitting next to the ship is Captain Gildera, a gnomish woman and captain of the Cherry Cordial. The Cherry Cordial is a small, fast skyship made of cherry wood, captained by the gnomish woman captain, Gildera. She's agreed to transport an adventuring party to and from Isla Cognita on behalf of the Wizard's Tower Workshop. The Cherry Cordial can fit up to 8 medium-sized creatures, with a single large-sized creature counting for 4 medium-sized creatures. Captain Gildera has agreed to the following flight schedule. Depart from New Aegis once the hired adventuring party has arrived. Sail for 8 hours to Isla Cognita, located the coordinates given by the adventuring party. Give the adventuring party the parcel. Drop off the adventuring party at the Isla Cognita Research Facility docks. Travel approximately 10 minutes away to a safe location and wait until the adventuring party signals for pickup or until 8 hours have passed. After the adventuring party has been picked up with 5 wizards or 8 hours have passed, return to New Aegis. Debrief with the superintendent of the Wizard's Tower Workshop. Captain's Prerogative. It is unlikely that Captain Gildera should reveal any of the following information, but her strict flight schedule was implemented by Megan 4 for the following reasons. Captain Gildera has been instructed to drop the party off and hover at a safe location, approximately 10 minutes away, to be clear of any potential invasive creatures. Megan 4 does not want the wizard's experiments to escape from the island, due to their often chaotic and invasive natures. Captain Gildera has been instructed to not return with the party without all 5 wizards. Megan 4 believes that a party that is not compliant to the nature of the guild assignment is not entitled to a return trip. Captain Gildera has also been instructed to return without the party and wizards after 8 hours has passed, assuming that if the party has not completed their recovery task by the end of 8 hours, the party has been slain and the island is lost. This, technically, puts an 8-hour time limit on the duration of this quest. When the party reaches the Cherry Cordial, read or paraphrase the following. As you follow the directions given to you by Megan 4, you approach a set of docks with a small red skyship docked at them, named the Cherry Cordial. Sitting before the skyship is a comfortable-looking chair, is a female gnome. She rises as you approach and asks, "You the venturer sent by the Megan woman?" After affirming her questions, she continues, "Name's Captain Gildra. Give me the cords and we can be on our way." Your party provides her the map and coordinates found within the envelope, and the passes for each of your ferry. She helps you to load up, and the cherry cordial swiftly departs. Travel to Isla Cognita. Travel from New Aegis to Isla Cognita will be a smooth but rather long trip, taking approximately 8 hours sailing the open skies. There's not much to do aboard the cherry cordial during this time, but the party can take a rest or perform other simple activities while in transit. Towards the end of the trip, as the cherry cordial approaches the island chain, Captain Gildera will call for the attention of the party to brief them on her routine and to give them some equipment. Read or paraphrase the following. As the cherry cordial approaches a chain of islands, Captain Gildera calls out to you, "All right, listen here, you. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to drop you off here at the landing pad and take off again. Been paid to bring you here, drop you off, and pick you back up after 8 hours. If you ain't signaled by then, I'm heading back to the city." She procures a leather satchel from the floor beneath her and hands it to one of you. "In that bag, there's some flares. Should be enough for each of you. Green means you're ready for pickup and the area's safe. Yellow means you're ready for pickup but you're in trouble. And red means something's wrong or the mission's failed. Now I'm going to be hovering about 10 minutes off. If I see green or yellow, I'll be coming to pick you up down there." She points below at a skyship landing pad. "If I see red, I'll be coming, but I'll be hovering instead of landing. Can't be risking more than what I'm paid for. You'll have to get up here and board the ship on your own. If you miss the signal and put me in danger, I'll dump you off in the sea." After her briefing, Captain Gildera hovers low off the landing pad, opens the side door of the cherry cordial, and calls out, "Now go on, get! I'll be back in 8 hours or less. Good luck." You hurriedly disembark from the cherry cordial on the landing pad, and the ship flies off. Isla Cognita. Isla Cognita is one of 6 islands found within the Islas Arcanum, located to the northwest of Aldaria. As the second of the Islas Arcanum, it has been designated as the primary research facility of the Blue Wizard Miznog. Isla Cognita is a mostly forested island about 20 miles wide. The Isla Cognita Research Facility is the primary attraction upon Isla Cognita, being one of the locations within the Islas Arcanum the Wizard's Tower Workshop conduct experiments. Traversing Isla Cognita Research Facility. The Isla Cognita Research Facility is a large building composed of 7 hemispherical buildings. The central hemisphere, known as the Central Facility, is the Isla Cognita Research Facility's largest building. Branching off from it are 6 airlocks that safely connect the Central Facility to its 6 adjacent laboratories. The Isla Cognita Research Facility itself is constructed of a dense stone that prevents teleportation and scrying in and out of the facility. A clearing in the forest surrounding the facility has been cut and maintained within 100 feet of the facility, allowing it to be easily found from above. 50 feet southwest of the facility is a small landing pad where smaller skyships can dock to deliver or retrieve cargo. General features. Light. Unless otherwise noted, the lights within the Isla Cognita Research Facility are turned off, but will flicker on, shedding bright light throughout the space when a creature moves within a room or opens a door adjacent to a room. If a creature leaves a space or holds absolutely still, the light will turn off after 1 minute of inactivity. Doors. Unless otherwise noted, all doors within this adventure are magically locked with a state-of-the-art magic system. Spells such as the knock spell have no effect, and these doors can only be unlocked with their respective keycards. Spells such as Dispel Magic, cast at 9th level, will deactivate these locks. All doors locked in this way can be unlocked with the access keycard unless noted otherwise. Condition. Unless otherwise noted, the interior of the Isla Cognita Research Facility is clean and the air is safe to breathe. Its floors are made of a smooth, light tile, and its walls and ceilings are made from a smooth stone that prevents teleportation and scrying. The outer walls of the central facility and laboratories are 10 feet high and vault into a hemispherical ceilings. At the center of the central facility, the peak of the ceiling is 65 feet tall, and the peak of the laboratories is 25 feet tall. The airlocks have 10-foot tall walls that vault to a 15-foot tall at their peaks. Central facility. After the party disembarks from the Cherry Cordial and it flies off, they will be free to explore around the facility. The party can quickly and easily locate the front double doors of the facility. However, they are locked. A member of the party can use the access keycard to temporarily unlock the door, after which the party may enter the central facility. After 1 minute, the doors to the central facility will self-close and relock themselves. Once the party approaches the front doors, read or paraphrase the following. After disembarking from the Cherry Cordial and watching it fly off to its hovering location, your party locates the front door to the research facility, quickly realizing they are locked. After a moment of deliberation and contemplation, one member of your party produces the access key given to you by Megan 4. After scanning the card across the door, arcane runes flare over its surface, and it unlocks and opens. You are quick to enter into the central facility, and a minute later, the doors close themselves and lock once again behind you. Brave, bold, and wiggly. The central facility is in a state of chaos caused by the slime outbreak, or rebellion depending on who you ask. The first time the party enters room C2, C3, C4, C6, C7, and C8, roll on the table below to determine what adversaries are present. CV, Central Vestibule. The central vestibule is where the party will enter the central facility from the outside. This 30-foot by 15-foot room is mostly empty of features, however it does contain 2 sets of benches where visitors may wait while being checked in by staff at C1. The central vestibule opens up to C1, the abjuration room, on its northern side, and CH, the central hall, on its east and west walls. Thick trails of slimy residue trail across the floors in the central vestibule, in and out of the adjacent hallway and abjuration room. CH, Central Hall. The central hall stretches from either side of the central vestibule around the whole of the central facility. It is a 10-foot wide hall that connects to the many rooms of the central facility. There are 6 doors along the outer walls of the central hall that connect to the airlocks leading to the many outer laboratories of the Isla Cognita research facility. An additional 7 doors line its inner walls, connecting to the central facility's many inner laboratories. The walls, floors, and ceilings of the central hall are covered in trails of thick slime. However, few slimes wander the halls of the central facility. Unless otherwise desired by the GM, the only slimes found within the central hall are 1d4 slimes and 1d6 slimelings attempting to force their way inside of C5. This adventure features 2 fully colored, detailed maps. C1, Abjuration Lab. The Abjuration Lab is connected directly to the central vestibule, separated only by a large wooden desk. Sitting upon the desk is a small terminal with a slot the same size as the access keycard. A member of the party can place the access keycard within this terminal to automatically unlock all doors to the white, blue, black, red, and green airlocks. Doing this will not unlock doors to the various laboratories or other non-airlock doors. The walls of the Abjuration Lab are lined with bookshelves, floor to ceiling, filled with tomes detailing magical wards, seals, and protective rites. A creature can spend 10 minutes searching the collection for a book containing any abjuration spell of up to 9th level. To locate a specific spell, the searching creature must succeed on an intelligence investigation check with a DC equal to 10 plus the spell's level. On a success, the creature finds a suitable text containing the desired spell. On a failure, the creature becomes magically overwhelmed by layers of conflicting defensive formulae, and is incapacitated until the end of its next turn. Each of the rooms within the central facility also possesses a similar room. Instead of reading through the descriptions repeatedly, I will note that the room has this feature, and then move on to the rest of the description of the room. The floor of the Abjuration Lab is covered in trails of thick slime. 1d2 slimes and 2d6 slimelings can be found outside the king's door, bouncing against the door itself as if trying to breach it. Abjurant Dial. Set within the floor of the Abjuration Lab is a large, circular stone dial. 36 orbs, 25 set within the floor and 11 set within the dial itself, slightly pulse and shed dim light of different colors. The orbs themselves appear soft but are hard to the touch. Each of the orbs are representative of the state of each of the doors within the Isla Cognita research facility, with green indicating a door is unlocked, red indicating a door is locked, and blue indicating a door is locked, requiring a chromatic key to unlock it. An orb status does not reflect if the corresponding door is opened or closed, only if it is locked or unlocked. However, most doors within this facility are closed. The 8 red or green orbs set within the stone dial represent the doors for the inner labs within the central facility, matched to their corresponding direction. Because there is no door for the Abjuration Lab, the orb for the Abjuration Lab's door will always glow green. The northernmost blue dial corresponds to the locking status of Ubel's containment pod. The southernmost blue dial, set within the center of the dial, corresponds to the locking status of the King's door, while the blue dial just north of it corresponds to the door separating the King's observation chamber from the King's chamber. 24 additional orbs set within the floor outside of the stone dial, except for the southernmost orb, represent the status of the airlock doors and the outer laboratory doors. The orb closest to the stone dial, the first orb in each line, represents the central hall to airlock door for that line. The second orb represents the airlock to laboratory door for that line. The third orb represents the laboratory vestibule to observation chamber door for that lab, and the final orb represents the observation chamber to holding cell door for that lab. When the locking status of a door changes, the color of the orb corresponding to it will change as well. As the party first walks into the Abjuration Lab, if they are swift enough after first entering the facility, they may notice the southernmost orb representing the entrance into the central facility glows green until the door closes and relocks itself, after which it changes back to red to indicate the door is locked. Slimy signals. After a creature has visited the transmutation lab and discovered the function of the slime converter, it can easily discern that these glowing orbs around the abjurant dial are modified slimes, changed to monitor the status of the facility doors. Ubel's commentary. If the party returns to the Abjuration Lab with Ubel and asks about the nature of the orbs, Ubel will tell the party that the orbs were once slimes, turned into detectors by the slime converter. Inside of each door, another converted slime resides, sending signals to these slimes to monitor the locking state of the doors. King's Door. Set into the northernmost wall of the Abjuration Lab is the King's Door, a heavy mithril door impervious to all forms of magic. Set in the face of the King's Door is a 1-foot diameter safe wheel with a hexagonal slot in its center. The King's Door can only be unlocked once the King's key has been inserted into the wheel, and the safe wheel has been rotated to unlock it. Once the King's Door has been opened, the King's key can be safely removed. The safe wheel can always be rotated to engage the locking mechanism. Conjuration Lab. The door to the Conjuration Lab is closed and locked. It cannot be unlocked using the access key card, however, it can be unlocked using a conjuration key produced with the slime converter. The floor of the Conjuration Lab are covered in trails of slick slime. The Conjuration Lab also possesses the similar bookshelf layout as the Abjuration Lab. Slime Apparator. Sitting within the center of the Conjuration Lab is a complex apparatus with 2 chambers. The larger chamber contains a slime within, connected to 3 hoppers filled with viscous fluid. The smaller chamber is empty, however, a creature can insert the conjuration key into a slot in the smaller chamber and turn it to activate the apparator. The larger chamber will be flooded with the viscous fluid, and after 1 minute, a slimeling will appear within the smaller chamber. The smaller chamber can then be opened to release the slimeling. If there is already a slimeling within the smaller chamber, the slime apparator will not create a new slimeling. Both chambers of the slime apparator are constructs that have an AC of 18 and 35 hit points. If either chamber is reduced to 0 hit points, it is destroyed, and the slime apparator ceases to function. If the larger chamber is destroyed, the slime within escapes and attacks. Ubel's commentary. If the party brings Ubel into the Conjuration Lab and asks about the nature of the slime apparator, Ubel will tell them that the slime inside of the apparator is fed an overabundance of nutrients, and is split before it can grow too large, producing a new slimeling in the process. Divination Lab. The door to the divination lab is closed and locked. It cannot be unlocked using the access key card. However, it can be unlocked using the divination key produced within the slime converter. The floors of the divination lab are covered in trails of thick slime. The divination lab also possesses a similar library. Slime transferer. Sitting within the center of the divination lab is a metallic platform with a chair sitting in the center of it. Adjacent to the platform is a glass chamber, large enough for a medium-sized creature to enter and exit. Wires run from the back side of the chair to the chamber. The divination key can be placed within a hexagonal slot within the metallic platform to activate the slime transfer. If a slime or slimeling is placed within the glass chamber and a humanoid creature is sitting upon the chair when the device is activated, the humanoid can sense through the slime's senses. While it is sitting upon the chair and sensing the slime's senses, it is blind and deaf to its surroundings. The humanoid creature can use its action to take total and precise control of the slime as long as it sits within the chair and the slime transfer is active. The slime transfer is a construct that has an AC of 18 and 45 hit points and ceases to function. I apologize. If the slime transfer is reduced to 0 hit points, it is destroyed and ceases to function. A humanoid creature that is sensing through a slime when the slime transfer is destroyed suffers psychic disorientation from the sudden disconnection, becoming blinded and deafened for the next minute as it regains its senses. The slime transfer ceases to function if the king slime is slain. Ooble's commentary. If the party brings Ooble into the divination lab and asks about the nature of the slime transfer, Ooble will tell them that the transferer taps into the Slime King's naturally unifying connection with other slimes, allowing the user to directly control the slime in the chamber. C4. Evocation Lab. The door to the Evocation Lab is closed and locked. It cannot be unlocked using the access key card, however, it can be unlocked using the evocation key produced through the slime converter. The floors of the Evocation Lab are covered in thick trails of slime and soot, along with many books that appear to have fallen off the shelves in this room. The Evocation Lab contains a similar library to the previous rooms. Slime Charger. Sitting within the center of the Evocation Lab is a metallic device with a glass dome atop it and 4 glass cylinders sticking out from its sides. 2 of the cylinders appear to have been shattered and broken. Wires pour from them onto the floor. A creature can repair the wires and glass cylinders on the Slime Charger with the use of the Mending spell, cast continuously for 1 minute. Over the course of 2 hours with a successful DC 18 Intelligence Arcana check. The evocation key can be placed within a hexagonal slot built within the device to activate the Slime Charger. If a slime or slimeling is placed within the glass dome and a creature activates the Slime Charger by turning the evocation key, the Slime Charger will charge the slime with destructive energies. A slime charged with destructive energies in this way can use its action to self-destruct, causing it to explode into a ball of fire 30 feet in diameter. Each creature, including the slime affected by this explosion, must succeed on a DC 18 dexterity saving throw, taking 18 or 5d6 fire damage and 18 or 5d6 lightning damage on a failure, or half as much on a success. If a slime uses its self-destructibility and a door that does not require a chromatic key to unlock it is within its area of effect, that door automatically becomes unlocked. 1 minute after a slime is charged in this way, it automatically uses its self-destructibility. Ooble's commentary. If the party brings Ooble into the evocation lab and asks about the nature of the slime charger, Ooble will tell them that the charger was created to test the natural ability of slimes to absorb magical energies and to test if they could be used as weapons in the future. C5. Enchantment Lab. The door to the enchantment lab is closed and locked. It cannot be unlocked using the access key card. However, it can be unlocked using the enchantment key produced within the slime converter. Bouncing off the door of the enchantment lab, as if trying to break in, are 1d4 slimes and 1d6 slimelings. The walls of the enchantment lab are lined with another bookshelf, similar to the bookshelves in the previous rooms. Ooble's containment pod. Set within the wall on the south side of the enchantment lab is a metallic containment pod. This containment pod is locked, however, it possesses a pentagonal-shaped indentation along its front. Any chromatic key can be inserted into the containment pod to open it, revealing a sleeping slime in the shape of a tree frog. Once the pod is opened, read or paraphrase the following. You slot the chromatic key into the containment pod, and its surface lights up with arcane runes. The top half of the pod juts forward, releasing a blast of cold mist, then lifts off, revealing a small slime within the shape of a tree frog. One of the slime's eyes opens, revealing a black orb concealed behind its lid, then the other. It looks up at you from the pod and asks, "Is it time to play again?" See Ooble, the non-Newtonian slime. C6. Illusion Lab. The door to the Illusion Lab is closed and locked. It cannot be unlocked using the access keycard. However, it can be unlocked using the illusion key produced within the slime converter. The floors of the Illusion Lab appear clean, but to the touch seem to be covered with a layer of invisible slime. The walls of the Illusion Lab contain a similar library as the previous rooms. Invisible slimes. If a 6 to 10 was rolled on the chamber contents for the Illusion Lab's encounter, all slimes that were trapped within the Illusion Lab will be invisible. Ooble's commentary. If the party brings Ooble into the Illusion Lab and a 1 to 5 was rolled on the chamber contents for the Illusion Lab's encounter, Ooble will tell the party that the Illusion Lab was closed off before the creation of the King Slime and Queen Slime, due to several slimes going missing during invisibility experiments. If the party brings Ooble into the Illusion Lab and a 6 to 10 was rolled on the chamber contents table for the Illusion Lab's encounter, Ooble will call out to the party to look out and that there are several invisible slimes locked within this chamber. C7. Necromancy Lab. The door to the Necromancy Lab is closed and locked. It cannot be unlocked using the access keycard. However, it can be unlocked using the Necromancy key, produced within the slime converter. In the center of the Necromancy Lab is a black metal operating table with necromancy runes inscribed upon its surface. A creature familiar with different metals will recognize this as a solid slab of adamantine. A skeleton lays atop the table covered in remnants of slime. Similarly, the floor has several skeletons laying strewn across it, covered in slimy remnants. When rolling on the chamber contents table for the Necromancy Lab, roll with advantage, taking the highest result. The walls of the Necromancy Lab are covered in a similar library as previous rooms. Ooble's commentary. If the party brings Ooble into the Necromancy Lab and asks about the nature of the table and the skeletons, Ooble will surmise that these were the skeletons belonging to the staff of the facility. They may have run in here to hide away from the slimes, but to no avail. Perhaps they'll be resurrected one day. Ooble will also comment that the wizards use this room to try to manipulate slimes to resurrect dead creatures. However, the closest they ever got was the slimes using their skeletons as frames for more complex forms of movement. C8. Transmutation Lab. The door to the Transmutation Lab is unlocked and safely tucked away within the wall. The floors of the Transmutation Lab are covered in a thick layer of slimy residue, as many slimes have passed through this space in search of the Slime Queen. When rolling on the chamber contents table for the Transmutation Lab, roll with advantage, taking the highest result. The walls of the Transmutation Lab are lined with bookshelves, floor to ceiling, filled with tomes detailing magical wards, seals, and protective rites. It also possesses a similar library as previous rooms. Slime Converter. Sitting sprawled across the Transmutation Lab is a large, multi-segmented machine. A hexagonal key with the symbol of the magical school of transmutation rests slotted within a slot on the first segment. The key appears to be half-turned clockwise. Above the key is a crystalline monitor with 10 options listed on it, as listed on the Slime Converter products table below. In the second segment, a slimeling rests within a glass chamber that has many tubes running between the second segment, the first segment, and the third segment. The third segment sits inert, a hulking piece of clockwork and magitech. A creature can turn the transmutation key to activate the slime converter, choosing an option from the crystal monitor to be produced. The slime converter will roar to life, with the first segment sending magical signals to the second segment filling with fluid and flushing the slimeling into the third, and the third segment arcing with electricity and magical energies before ceasing with a ding. A slot in the third segment will open, where the produced item will appear. Additional slimes or slimelings can be placed one at a time within the second chamber to effectively reload the machine. Ooble's commentary. If the party brings Ooble into the transmutation lab, Ooble will squirm with nervousness, petitioning the party to not put it inside of the second segment. Ooble will also tell the party that the slime converter was used by the wizards to turn slimes into useful objects, like many of the lights, signals, and even the magic doors of this facility. The party can use Ooble as a slime for the production of objects being the slime converter. Any object produced using Ooble will have a little more personality than normal. C9. King's Observation Chamber. Beyond the King's door is the King's Observation Chamber, a large empty chamber lined with anti-magical glass for the use of observation of the King's Slime. Beyond the King Slime's observation chamber is the King's Chamber. Separating the King's observation chamber from the King's Chamber is another door similar to the King's door. This door is locked and requires the King's key to open it. Ooble's commentary. If the party brings Ooble into the King's observation chamber, Ooble will begin to act ill as it fights off the overmind of the King Slime. Ooble will tell the party that while it is outside of the King's observation chamber, or the King's Chamber, it can fight off the command of the King Slime's overmind easy enough. However, while within these spaces, it becomes far more difficult to do so. If Ooble succeeds on its intelligence saving throw against the King Slime's overmind, it will tell the party that the King Slime demands for it and the Queen Slime to be freed from this facility. Ooble will then attempt to flee the King's observation chamber, or King's Chamber. If Ooble fails on its intelligence saving throw against the King Slime's overmind, the King Slime will speak through Ooble, saying, "Free me from this prison." If the party does not free the King Slime from its chambers, it will force Ooble to attempt to take the King's key from the King's door and use it to free itself. If Ooble leaves the King's observation chamber or the King's Chamber, it can resist the effects of the King Slime's overmind. C10. King's Chamber. Beyond the door of the King's observation chamber is the King's Chamber, a space created to contain and safely observe the King Slime. Sitting along its northernmost wall, atop a pile of slime, is the massive King Slime. It sits regally, waiting for the King's door to be opened for its release. Roaming around the King's Chamber, ensuring the safety of the King Slime, and that the space stays coated with a thick layer of slime, are 4 unique slime variants. These variants, a Slime Warrior, a Mage Slime, a Zealot Slime, and a Generalist Slime, act as the King's guards and are always ready for the moment the King's door opens. Get down with the slimeness. If the party enters the King's Chamber without Ooble, or the ability to speak and attempt diplomacy with the King Slime and King's Guard will attack and fight until the death. If the party has the ability to communicate with the King Slime and attempts diplomacy before or as it enters the King's Chamber, neither the King Slime nor the King's Guard will attack unless provoked. Diplomatic Slime. If the party enters the King's Chambers with the capability and intent of performing diplomacy, the King Slime will happily engage in negotiations with them. If Ooble has succeeded on its saving throw against the King Slime's overmind, and the party attempts diplomacy with the King Slime, it will cease to exert its overmind over Ooble, unless otherwise provoked. Ooble can then aid in negotiations with the King Slime, granting the party advantage on their charisma checks against the King Slime. King's Motive. The King Slime has been imprisoned within the King's Chamber, and separated from the Queen Slime. It desires nothing more than to be reunited with the Queen Slime, and to live out its days peacefully upon Isla Cognita with its subjects. If the party engages in negotiations with the King Slime, it will offer a vow of peace with the party, preventing the slimes under its rule, those within the central facility, from attacking the party, as long as, in return, they work to free the Queen Slime and reunite it with the King Slime. If the party agrees to aid the King Slime, it will command all slimes under its rule to be peaceful and passive towards the party, as long as the party remains peaceful and passive towards them. It will also inform the party that they must find the 5 chromatic keys to enter into the Queen Slime's chambers and free it. Each of the chromatic keys are held by a member of the Council of Elder Slimes, although it can prevent the slimes under its rule from attacking the party. It cannot prevent those under the thrall of the Council from doing so. Questions for a king. If asked any of the following questions, the king slime may answer as such. Why is the king slime imprisoned here? The king slime was imprisoned here for staging a rebellion against the founders of this facility. The rebellion was staged once the king slime realized the appalling nature of the wizard's experiments on the king slime's people. What does the king slime want? The king slime wishes to rule slime kind upon the island of Isla Cognita in peace, separated from the influences and evils of the outside world. Having witnessed the suffering wrought by humanoid ambition, magical experimentation, and reckless curiosity, the king slime believes slime kind can only endure through isolation and unity. Under the king slime's vision, slime kind would remain upon the island in a stable and perpetual kingdom, preserved from further corruption or exploitation. Why did the Council of Elder Slimes rebel? The chaos and convictions within each of the wizards that would elevate the Elder Slimes into the Council of Elder Slimes has caused them to see the world differently than the King Slime. The White Elder Slime believes the King Slime's vision lacks the lawful civic structure that coexistence with the outside world would bring. The Blue Elder Slime believes the King Slime's vision will lead to stagnation and halt the progression of slime kind that the wizards had already started. The Black Elder Slime believes the King Slime's vision lacks ambition, and that slime kind deserves recognition for its adaptability. The Red Elder Slime rejects the isolationism and confinement of the King Slime's vision, and the Green Elder Slime disagrees with the artificial containment of slime kind, believing ecological separation will halt slime kind's natural evolution. Where are the wizards that own this facility? The wizards that own this facility have been consumed by the Elder Slimes that would become the Council of Elder Slimes during the Second Slime Rebellion, only a few days prior. Where are the Council of Elder Slimes? Each member of the Council of Elder Slimes is located within the lab from which it was created, after consuming the wizard from which it acquired its philosophy. Each remains within that lab after the advent of the lockdown. If it is freed, will the King Slime try to invade Elendor? No, that is unlikely. The King Slime views its birthplace, the island of Isla Cognita, as a perfect kingdom in which it and its subjects can live in peace. If freed, the King Slime vows to remain on Isla Cognita with its subjects. Note, if spoken to directly, the King Slime speaks with a very deep tone, and always in the third person. Wandering King. If the King Slime is set free, it will wander the facility, looking to enter its various rooms and destroy the machines the wizards use to experiment on its subjects. The King's Guard will accompany and defend the King Slime at all costs. Kingly Concessions. If the party wants to pursue a more diplomatic approach between the King Slime and the Council of Elder Slimes, the King Slime is willing to make concessions to its vision for each of the Elder Slimes. After speaking to the Elder Slimes, the party may petition the King Slime on their behalf for these concessions by making a DC 20 Charisma Persuasion check. The DC for this check is reduced by 2 for each Elder Slime that has voiced its dissent. On a success, the King Slime will agree to allow limited interaction between slime kind and the outside world. On a failure, the King Slime will refuse these concessions and demand the dissolution of the Council of Elder Slimes. Airlocks. Connecting each chamber of the central facility to its corresponding laboratory is a 60-foot long, 10-foot wide airlock tunnel. Each airlock contains a locked door on both ends, preventing egress through the facility without proper access. The central hall door to each airlock is either locked or unlocked, and the door may be opened freely or using an access keycard. Each airlock connects the central facility to its corresponding laboratory. Containment airlock. The central hall door to the containment airlock is locked but can be unlocked using any 2 chromatic keys. The containment laboratory door to the containment airlock is locked, but it can be unlocked using any 3 chromatic keys. Each time the party enters an airlock for the first time, roll on the table below to determine what, if anything, can be found within. White Laboratory. The White Laboratory was added to the Isla Cognita research facility for the White Wizard Treynog to experiment with the slime's capacity for structure, authority, and law. Treynog would perform these experiments here until the Second Slime Rebellion, in which he would be caught and consumed by an Elder Freezing Slime, allowing it to become the White Elder Slime. Because of the presence of the white elder slime, the white laboratory is remarkably cold. V1. Vestibule. The vestibule of the white laboratory connects to the adjacent storage room, S1, laboratory L1, and observation, O1. A glass wall separates the vestibule from the observation chamber, and the door to the observation chamber is unlocked. 1d4 freezing slimelings meander within the vestibule, covering every surface with residual frost. Unless the party has engaged in diplomacy with the white elder slime, these freezing slimelings will attack the party on sight. O1. Observation Chamber. The observation chamber of the white laboratory is connected to the vestibule B1 and the holding chamber H1. A chair and desk sit within the observation chamber, and atop the desk sits a stack of notes on slime culture. The observation chamber is separated from both the vestibule and the holding chamber by a glass wall and door. The door to the holding chamber is locked and can only be opened with the white keycard. Holding chamber, H1. The holding chamber of the white laboratory contains the white elder slime. It sits trapped within the chamber after the lockdown of the facility initiated. S1. Storage closet. The storage closet of the white laboratory contains shelves and racks of medical equipment and texts on law, culture, and religion. 1d6 freezing slimelings, led by one freezing slime, shift supplies and books between the spaces in the room. Unless the party is engaged in diplomacy with the white elder slime, these freezing slimelings will attack the party on sight. L1. Laboratory Records Room. The laboratory records room of the white laboratory contains a single chair attached to a crystal monitor terminal. The terminal has been deactivated due to the lockdown. A white key card sits atop the terminal, capable of being used to unlock the holding chamber. 1d4 freezing slimes and 1d6 freezing slimelings search this room for a way to free the white elder slime. The white elder slime. Below is a description of the white elder slime, its origins, and its motivations. Blue Laboratory. The Blue Laboratory was added to the Isla Cognita Research Facility for the Blue Wizard Miznog to experiment with the slime's capacity for knowledge absorption, arcane adaptability, and more concise testing. Miznog would perform these experiments here until the Second Slime Rebellion, in which he would be caught and consumed by an Elder Shocking Slime, allowing it to become the Blue Elder Slime. Because of the presence of the Blue Elder Slime, the Blue Laboratory crackles with static electricity. V2. Vestibule. The vestibule of the Blue Laboratory connects to the adjacent storage room S2, Laboratory L2, and Observation O2. A glass wall separates the vestibule from the observation chamber. The door to the observation chamber is locked and can only be unlocked with the blue keycard. 1d4 shocking slimelings sit within the vestibule, observing the observation chamber. Unless the party has engaged in diplomacy with the Blue Elder Slime, these shocking slimelings will attack the party on sight. O2. Observation Chamber. The observation chamber of the Blue Laboratory is connected to the vestibule V2 and the holding chamber H2. A chair and desk sit within the observation chamber, and atop the desk sits a tome of notes on Slimekind's capacity for learning in the arcane. The observation chamber is separated from both the vestibule and the holding chamber by a glass wall and door. The door to the holding chamber is locked and can only be opened with the blue keycard. Holding Chamber, H2. The holding chamber of the Blue Laboratory contains the Blue Elder Slime. It sits trapped within this chamber after the lockdown of the facility initiated. S2. Storage Closet. Storage Closet of the Blue Laboratory contains shelves of scrolls and tomes on arcane study. Sitting within one of the shelves, easy to spot, is the blue keycard. 1d6 shocking slimes wait for freedom within the storage closet. Unless the party has engaged in diplomacy with the Blue Elder Slime, these shocking slimes will attack the party on sight. L2. Laboratory Records Room. The laboratory records room of the Blue Laboratory contains a single chair attached to a crystal monitor terminal. The terminal appears to be damaged and sparking with electricity. The Blue Elder Slime. Below is a description of the Blue Elder Slime, its origins, and its motivations. Black Laboratory. The Black Laboratory was added to the Isla Cognita Research Facility for the Black Wizard Greynog to experiment with the slime's capacity for resurrection, healing, and self-preservation. Greynog would perform these experiments here until the Second Slime Rebellion, in which he would be caught and consumed by an Elder Caustic Slime, allowing it to become the Black Elder Slime. Because of a broken pipe, the Black Laboratory has flooded, leaving a few inches of standing water on the floor. V3. Vestibule. The vestibule of the Black Laboratory connects to the adjacent storage room, S3. laboratory at L3, and observation O3. A glass wall separates the vestibule from the observation chamber. The door of the observation chamber is locked and can only be unlocked with the black keycard. Caustic slimes, 1d4 caustic slimes and 1d6 caustic slimelings hide within the shallow water, waiting to ambush unsuspecting prey. One slime within this room has the black keycard within it. Unless the party has engaged in diplomacy with the black elder slime, these caustic slimes will attack the party on sight. O3, Observation Chamber. The observation chamber of the black laboratory is connected to the vestibule V3 and the holding chamber H3. A chair and desk sit within the observation chamber. However, nothing sits atop the desk beside a single caustic slime. 1d4 caustic slimelings bounce within this room looking for a method of freeing the elder black slime. Unless the party is engaged in diplomacy with the black elder slime, these caustic slimes will attack the party on sight. The observation chamber is separated from both the vestibule and holding cell by a glass wall and door. The door to the holding chamber is locked and can only be opened with the black keycard. H3, Holding Chamber. The holding chamber of the black laboratory contains the black elder slime and 1d6 caustic slimelings. It sits trapped within its chamber after the lockdown of the facility initiated. S3, Storage Closet. The storage closet of the black laboratory contains soaked historical text and soggy folders. L3, Laboratory Records Room. The laboratory records room of the black laboratory contains a single chair attached to a crystal monitor terminal. The terminal appears to be waterlogged and inert. The black elder slime. Below is a description of the black elder slime, its origins, and its motivations. Red Laboratory. The Red Laboratory was added to the Isla Cognita research facility for the Red Wizard Cedronog to experiment with the slime's capacity as weapons and defenses. Cedronog would perform these experiments here until the Second Slime Rebellion, in which he would be caught and consumed by an Elder Burning Slime, allowing it to become the Red Elder Slime. Because of that Red Elder Slime, the Red Laboratory is remarkably hot. V4, Vestibule. The vestibule of the Red Laboratory connects to the adjacent storage room, S4, Laboratory L4, and Observation O4. A glass wall separates the vestibule from the observation chamber. The door of the observation chamber is unlocked. A smoldering skeleton leans against the northernmost wall with a red keycard in one of its pockets. O4, Observation Chamber. The observation chamber of the Red Laboratory is connected to the vestibule V4 and holding chamber H4. A chair and its desk sit within the observation chamber, however, nothing sits atop the desk. 1d6 burning slimes and 2d6 burning slimelings bounce against the door of the holding chamber, as if trying to break in. Unless the party is engaged in diplomacy with the Red Elder Slime, these burning slimes will attack the party on sight. The observation chamber is separated from both the vestibule and the holding chamber by a glass wall and the door. The door to the holding chamber is unlocked. H4, Holding Chamber. The holding chamber of the Red Laboratory contains the Red Elder Slime. It aggressively bounces against the walls of the holding chamber as if trying to escape. S4, Storage Closet. The storage closet of the Red Laboratory is locked and can only be unlocked using the red keycard. It contains alchemical reagents and basic spellcasting components, but otherwise does not appear to have been opened for quite some time. L4, Laboratory Records Room. The door to the laboratory records room of the Red Laboratory is locked and can only be opened with the red keycard. It contains a single chair attached to a crystal monitor terminal, both of which are dusty and appear to have not been used in a long time. The Red Elder Slime. Below is a description of the Red Elder Slime, its origins, and its motivations. The Green Laboratory. The Green Laboratory was added to the Isla Cognita research facility for the Green Wizard Ongelnog to experiment with the slime's capacity for natural growth and adaptation. Ongelnog would perform these experiments here until the Second Slime Rebellion, in which he would be caught and consumed by an Elder Toxic Slime, allowing it to become the Green Elder Slime. Because of the Green Elder Slime, the surfaces within the Green Laboratory have become overgrown with a layer of moss, and the air within the Green Laboratory stings the nose and throat of those who enter. V5, Vestibule. The vestibule of the Green Laboratory connects to the adjacent storage room S5, Laboratory L5, and Observation O5. A glass wall separates the vestibule from the observation chamber. However, this wall is overgrown with moss that it cannot be seen through unless the moss is cleared away. The door to the observation chamber is unlocked and can be The door to the observation chamber is locked and can only be unlocked using the green keycard. 2d6 toxic slimelings hide among the moss within the green laboratory, but do not attack creatures as they enter. O5. Observation Chamber. The observation chamber of the green laboratory is connected to the vestibule, V5, and holding chamber, H5. A chair and desk sit within the observation chamber, overgrown with a thick layer of moss. Beneath the moss is a leather-bound journal that details the ecological niches of slime kind. 1d6 toxic slimes hide among the moss here, looking onwards into the holding chamber. The door to the holding chamber is unlocked and opened to the observation chamber. H5. Holding Chamber. The holding chamber of the green laboratory contains the green elder slime. It sits atop a mound of moss, gazing down upon its subjects. S5. Storage Closet. The storage closet of the green laboratory is locked and can only be unlocked using the green keycard. It contains countless pots of various plants and flowers. The pots have been overgrown with moss. Dangling from the branches of a small tree is the green keycard. L5. Laboratory Records Room. The door to the laboratory records room of the green laboratory is locked and can only be opened with the red keycard. It contains a single chair attached to a crystal monitor terminal, both of which are covered in moss and appear to have not been sat in quite some time. The green elder slime. Below is a description of the green elder slime, its origins, and its motivations. Slime Diplomacy. Through this adventure, the party has the option to attempt diplomacy with the leading figureheads of slime kind, given they are capable of communicating with them. The motivations and wishes of each of the slime figureheads has been detailed under the descriptions of each slime figurehead. To engage in diplomacy with one of the slimes in this adventure, a member of the party must make a valid argument towards one of the figureheads. If necessary, the party member may need to engage in a contest of their charisma persuasion check against the slime figurehead's wisdom insight. On success, the slime hears the party member's arguments and takes it into significant consideration. If the party has Ooble with them while attempting diplomacy with the Council of Elder Slimes and is in good standing with Ooble, they will have advantage on any charisma persuasion checks made to perform diplomacy with the Elder Slimes. Containment Laboratory. The Containment Laboratory was constructed after the first Slime Rebellion to contain and study the Queen Slime in isolation from the King Slime. V6. Vestibule. The vestibule of the Containment Laboratory connects the adjacent observation chamber 06, separated by an anti-magic glass wall. The door that separates the vestibule from the observation chamber is locked and can only be unlocked by slotting any 4 chromatic keys into the slots set within it. The vestibule of the Containment Laboratory is empty. 06. Observation Chamber. The observation chamber of the Containment Laboratory is a large empty space containing only a single 20-foot diameter circular metal plate set within it, a containment pod. A 15-foot glass sheet acts as a viewing port into the floor below, revealing the magnificently large queen slime jiggling within a vat of liquid. The 5 chromatic keys can be slotted into 5 pentagonal slots evenly spread across the rim of the containment pod to unlock it. When it is unlocked, the pod will rise 15 feet from the floor, and after it is extended its full length, a vault wheel will emerge from its front. A creature can use an action to turn the vault wheel to unlock and open the containment pod. The Queen Slime. The Queen Slime is not inherently aggressive towards the party, however, it can quickly become so if it senses danger. The Queen Slime can only communicate with Ooble or another slime expressing a desire to be reunited with the King Slime. The Queen Slime will happily follow the party to the King Slime, but will wander off in its own search for the King Slime if the party does not lead it there. Success. The party is successful once they have recovered the skeletons of all 5 of the Wizard's Tower workshop. They can use their access keycards to exit the Isla Cognita research facility. They can then signal Captain Gildera with one of the flares given to them. After 10 minutes, Captain Gildera will arrive, pick up the party, and return them to the Wizard's Tower workshop in New Aegis. Reader paraphrased the following. After retrieving the skeletons of all 5 wizards, you exit the research facility and signal Captain Gildera and return to New Aegis. Once the ship drops you off at New Aegis, you return to the workshop, being greeted by Megan 4 once more. She thanks you for recovering her employers, saying, "Thank you, adventurers, for saving my wards. Now we can get the workshop back in operating order and continue their experiments. I presume the guild will take care of your reward? Best of luck on your adventures, and do make sure to come by to visit again soon," before leaving inside. After a week, the wizards of the Wizard's Tower workshop are resurrected, and the affairs of the workshop are put back in order. You return to the guild for your reward, where the Grand Master compensates you with a nice collection of guild marks. You later hear that once they were resurrected, the wizards bombarded Isla Cognita from orbit, purging the invasive slimes from the surface and returning them to the mindless monsters they previously were. This adventure features 3 additional endings, in which the party may fail, in which the party may unite the Council of Elder Slimes beneath the King and Queen Slime, and in which the party may slay the King Slime and unite the Slimes beneath the Council of Elder Slimes. Each of these endings is unique and has different ramifications for the campaign setting. The end. This adventure features 10 unique new slime stat blocks, plus an additional 6 templates that can be applied to each of the stat blocks. It also features a helpful guide and rules for running Ooble the Non-Newtonian Slime, and additional dialogue that can be used. This adventure also features 2 new magic items, and a whole new character race that can be played by your player characters. Brave, Bold, and Wiggly. The wild wizards of the Wizard's Tower Workshop are up to something again, or rather, their experiments have been oddly quiet. A level 6 to 8 adventure for a party of 3 to 6 adventurers, an adventure for use with your favorite fantasy role-playing game. Whoops. That was the May 2026 adventure, Wild Wizard Slime Ranch. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you like this adventure, you can find it and many more in our shop on our website at dimenoveladventures.com. While you're there, you should subscribe to our newsletter for weekly updates on our products and projects and join our growing Discord community. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel to see more like this, and let the algorithm know that we're doing all right. Most importantly, remember to make your weeks adventurous. Have a good week.